Stephen A., the news again coming in moments ago, Kevin Durant heading to the Golden State Warriors. How are you viewing this move from Durant?
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it. It's not that he's leaving Oklahoma City. If you're not happy there and you want to move on and you want to grow as a player, there's nothing wrong with that. He's one of the top 3 players in the world. He's a quintessential superstar. He deserves all the credit in the world for the talent that he possesses. But the flip side is this. They were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Not 1, not 2, but 3 different times. He was 48 minutes removed from getting to the NBA Finals by winning the Western Conference. 3 times he failed, particularly in Game 6. And you depart for the team that beat you when you're on the cusp of getting to the finals yourself or ultimately winning the championship for the franchise that you've been with since you've come into the NBA, I think it's incredibly weak. And I don't want to hear any comparisons to that of LeBron James when LeBron James left Cleveland for South Beach. When LeBron left Cleveland, the cupboard was bare. He was basically the only dude in Cleveland. It was LeBron James and a bunch of no-names. In the case of Kevin Durant, you have one of the top 5 players in the world as your teammate. You've got Billy Donovan, who's proven to be an exceptional coach. You've got a coaching staff. You've got a first-class organization. You've got Enes Kanter, Steven Adams, and all of these boys. You are legitimately a championship contender. You are the difference. You are the superstar, and you depart for the team that beat you, that's the 2-time reigning defending Western Conference champions, who's won a championship in the last 2 years. You're jumping on a bandwagon as far as I'm concerned. That's just the way that I look at it. I don't think there's any way to deny that. All the reporters, whether it's Ramona, it's Chris Broussard, everybody doing an exceptional job, pointing out the things that they point out. I don't disagree with anything anybody is saying. But in the end, what it comes down to is that Kevin Durant is one of the top 3 players in the world, and he ran away from the challenge that he faces in order to jump on the bandwagon of a team that's a little bit better, that's already rife with at least one superstar, a couple of guys that can really, really get it done. I just view it as him jumping on the bandwagon, and I think it's the weakest move I've ever seen by a superstar, plain and simple.
Chris Broussard, let's say that the Warriors win a championship next year. That's not without the realm of possibility. Do you think it's watered down because it's a team that
I disagree with Steve.
Okay.
I don't think this is much different at all from what LeBron James did in 2010 when he went to Miami. Remember, those Cleveland teams won 66 and 61 games. And I could argue that LeBron's struggles at the end of that Boston series in 2010, they were up 2-1 on Boston. Yeah. He was phenomenal in Game 3 and then struggled the rest of the series, and they lost. And then he went to a guy, Dwayne Wade, who had already won the championship, and with Chris Bosh. So I understand Steve saying they were up 3-1 on Golden State, and they should have won that. But this is similar, Steve, man. This is very similar, I think, to what LeBron did. So I can't rip KD for this.
Well, I'm not. Listen, I'm not ripping him for leaving. First of all, I'm ripping him for the team that he went to. You're going to the team that beat you when you were 48 minutes away on 3 separate occasions from beating them yourself. It's not that he's leaving Oklahoma City. It's the team that he's going to. And Chris Broussard, you've covered this league too long. I don't know how in God's name you can sit there and say that it's a similar situation to what LeBron experienced
was the best
in
player
Cleveland.
In the league. LeBron was being compared to Michael Jordan.
Who was on
the
team?
criticism LeBron took, which is similar
Chris.
to what you're saying.
Whoa.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm asking a question.
All right,
Tell me who was LeBron James' teammates. Who are they?
They were good enough to help him get 66 wins.
I asked you a question.
All right.
It's a direct question, Chris.
He didn't have a Russell Westbrook. He didn't have a Russell Westbrook.
Keep going.
Hold on, Steve.
You got to be kidding
could they not have beaten Boston?
It's not the same. And not only that, there were more things that were going on in Cleveland on a personal level, which you know just as well as anybody that influenced LeBron leaving Cleveland too. What's KD's excuse? Are you kidding me? I'm saying the issue is not about Kevin Durant's character. Kevin Durant is a good dude. He's a great basketball ambassador. He's one of the top 3 players in the world. It's not about him leaving because he's perfectly entitled to leave. He's earned the right to do what he wants. We're not casting aspersions on him because we're being hypocritical in terms of, oh, he's unselfish. Oh, it's not about the money. Kevin Durant hasn't been about that. Whereas LeBron had his press conference announcing he was going to South Beach. Kevin Durant, when he signed his initial extension with Oklahoma City, did it on Twitter. He ain't about all of that. We respect it. What we're talking about here is you being up 3-1 on the eventual two-time Western Conference champions, and at the time the reigning defending NBA champions, up 3-1. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, 48 minutes removed from a berth to the NBA Finals. You come up short, and that is the team you leave your team to depart for? That team that you're on the cusp, on the precipice of knocking off. It's the epitome of jumping on a bandwagon. And when you look at LeBron James, don't give me them 66-win season and all of that stuff during the regular season. They went up against Orlando one year and lost to Miguel Petrus and Hito Turkoglu and Jameer Nelson and those boys because Cleveland was exposed in the postseason. Then we saw them against Boston, and we also know that LeBron had a lot more going on off the basketball court, which you, Chris Broussard, knows better than most. So we take all of those things into consideration. I asked you to name their roster, and you still didn't give it to me, but we won't belabor that point. The point is, in Oklahoma
keeps
City,
cutting me off.
even if Russell Westbrook is leaving, you still have a situation where you got one more year. I'm just looking at who you departed for. Talk about jumping on the bandwagon. Golden State deserves all the props in the world. Nothing wrong with them. I'd do it if I were them too. He's one of the top 3 players in the world. But there is no doubt that when you talk about the criteria that comes with being a superstar in this league, the reality is clear. Kevin Durant didn't necessarily embrace that because he's jumping on the bandwagon. Where LeBron went, he was still the man. In the end, what you're looking at with Kevin Durant, you're going to Steph Curry's team. Rock Nation benefits. Okay, Nike and Under Armour and everybody else benefits. Kevin Durant may end up getting his ring. But there's something fraudulent about this, period. You can slice it any way you want. That's what it comes down to. You're jumping on the bandwagon, period. He's too great for that, but he could do what he wants. We're not going to sit up there and say that he can't, because obviously he can.